you for joining me for our Performance Basics class. For our workout, we're going to need a stick or a broomstick, whatever you have available. We're going to learn how to master key fundamentals of movement, setting ourselves up for success, and learning how to program a proper warm-up. So, all right. So we're going to focus on mobility first. We're going to move through some stability, activation drills, and then a brief strength session. So we're going to start with the thoracic spine, so upper back, hips, and ankles. That's what we want to be mobile, able to move very well. So we're going to start on the floor, hands and knees, cat-cow. So I'm sure we've all done this in like morning mobility type stuff. So we're going to go ahead, inhale, drop the belly down to the floor. Exhale, spine comes up towards the ceiling. So we're going to go through this portion here, getting all those nutrients moving through the spine. Again, we want movement in the upper back, syncing up our breathing with the movement. So inhale, belly down, exhale, back comes up. Good, let's go about 2 more here. All right, find yourself in that tabletop position, still in quadruped. We're going to work on the shoulders now. So I want us to try and draw circles with the shoulders. So what we're going to do is drop our chest down to the floor. So our shoulders are up towards our ears. We're going to pull those shoulders down and back towards our back pockets, push away from the floor. Reach those shoulders up towards the ears. Pull those shoulders down and back, push away from the floor. So essentially, we're making circles with that, just with the shoulder joints. So really isolating that area. Keep those elbows nice and straight. Good, so we want to have good range of motion throughout the shoulders before we get started with our workouts. Let's go 1 more. And then we're going to push back into our heels. So pushing back into the heels is going to lock out that lower back. So what I want us to do is bring our hand behind the head, reach, rotate up towards the ceiling, and bring it back down. So we're going to go about 5 or 6 reps here, nice and slow. So this is thoracic mobility here, opening up the thoracic spine now. And a rotational movement. Go ahead and give me 1 more here, and then we'll switch sides. So we're taking a top-down approach today, working all the way from the upper back, moving through the hips, moving all the way down to the feet when we finish up with our warm-up. Good, last one. All right, so we're going to take a more dynamic approach as we move down into the hips. We want to get those hips nice and mobile before we get to work. So we're going to go lateral lunge. So go ahead and find yourself in a wide stance. You're going to sit out laterally to the side and bring it back up. So when we laterally lunge, see how I'm not going very far down, keeping a nice 90-degree angle here. So actually what we're going to do, laterally lunge out to the side, bring it up, cradle that leg. So go ahead and try that with me. Sit out to the side, find your balance, cradle that leg. We're going to go about 3 or 4 reps on each side, and once you've done that, go ahead and switch sides. So lunge to the other side, bring it up, and cradle that leg. If you're having difficulty finding that lateral lunge position, a quick tip is to have your feet close together, slightly bend those knees, and then reach that leg out to the side. So there you have a nice side lunge position. Good. So keep going. And we'll get one more here. All right. So one other drill I like to use to open up those hips a little bit more because we're going to go into over and unders. So you're going to bring one knee up to your chest, bring it up and over. Bring the other one up and over. And then we're going to duck down nice and low and go all the way through that sequence again. So imagine like you're stepping over a hurdle here. Down nice and low through the hips. Up and over. And I like to go about 3 reps each movement. So this isn't the workout part yet. We're just setting the foundation for the workout that's to come. Again, first with mobility, moving on to stability. All right, so now that we worked on the upper back, the hips are mobile, we're going to go ahead and move on to the ankles. So come on down to the floor. What we're going to do is bring our ankles through a controlled articular rotation. So hold that knee nice and still. What I want you guys to do is bring those toes up towards your nose, point the feet out to the side, point the gas, press that gas pedal down, bring the foot inwards, and then bring the toes back up. So we're drawing a circle with our toes. Nice and slow here. No movement in the knee. That's why I'm holding my knee still. And if you can't go very far, that's okay. Let's go 5 or 6 one direction, then switch directions. Good, so I went ahead, switched directions. So now we're going to rotate out and away, up, bring it in, point it down, sweep. Good, last one. So let's go ahead and switch legs now. So same thing on this other ankle. Go ahead and find your position, point that gas pedal down, press the gas pedal down, bring the foot in, toes up, rotate out, point down, bring it back in. Good, keep going. Go ahead and switch directions. Go ahead and give me 2 more, nice and slow. All right, so we just created a little bit more space in the ankle. It's all warmed up and it's ready to go. We're going to move into stability now of the shoulders, lumbar spine, and the knees. So we want these areas of the body to be stable. We're going to go back into our quadruped position on hands and knees. So we're going to push up off the floor onto the toes. And I want you guys to go onto single arm. So bring that other arm up and rest it on the shoulder. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Go ahead and switch sides. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Switch. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Switch sides. 5, 4, 3, 2. One more each. We're actively pushing away from the floor up into those shoulder blades. Good. Both hips facing down. 3, 2, 1. Last one here. 3, 2, 1. Good. So with that, we're really enforcing a stable shoulder by having a less stable center of base of support. There are 3 instead of all 4s on the floor. So now we're going to bring it down to the floor. We're going to start to incorporate the pillar, which is our torso. we're going to go into some dead bugs. So go ahead with me, bring both legs up into the air. We're going to go opposite. So what I want us to do is press right hand into left knee. Other extremities are going to extend and then bring it right back up. So let's go 6 reps on each side. So the more you press into that knee, the more you will feel the muscles engaging. Nice and slow. Give me one more, then we'll switch legs. Good. So switch hands and knee. Press into that knee. Extend. Keep those toes flexed. It will help create tension throughout the whole body. So after we finish this in 3 reps, we'll move on to the knees. Go ahead and give me one more. Good, and relax. All right, so if you guys joined me this Monday, we did an inverted hamstring stretch, which is this. Today, we're going to try and increase that a little bit more. Of course, if you feel more comfortable with that move, that's also great to stabilize, to turn the glutes on and engage the foot to stabilize the knee. So what I want us to do is grip the floor with our foot. Bring the other leg up. Reach those hands out to your side. We're going to kick out into that position, but I want you guys to try and tap down to the floor and then tap behind. So here we're adding a little bit of movement, shifting the hips open and closed. And once you feel more comfortable, you can try and come up off the floor and not tap the floor. So see how I'm just rotating? But for now, we're going to just tap the floor to the side and then to the other side. Opening and closing the hips. Grab the floor with your big toe, pinky toe, heel. Good. So you should feel that whole leg just lit up right now. We're going to do the same thing on that other side. So I'm grabbing that floor with my foot. Hands out to the side. Bring that knee up. Reach it back. Good. Tap down to the floor. So we're going to close. Whoop. Good. So we're going to close. Then we're going to open. All the while, we're focusing on that knee, making sure it's not jutting in. So really keep a nice strong knee here. Opening and closing the hips as we go. Again, we're tapping onto the floor to help find our balance. Use those arms as a way to guide the hips. Good, last one. And bring it on up. All right, so we just finished the stability portion of our warm-up. So now we're moving into our activation drills. So we're going to start with kinetic linking, which means we're linking the whole body, upper extremity to lower extremity. We're linking it through the pillar. So we're going to go ahead and start with our side pillar bridge on the floor. So go ahead and find yourself on the floor. We're going to plank up, so into a half plank position, so bend that bottom leg. We're going to plank up. Go ahead and raise that leg now. We have 20 seconds here. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So this is working both sides of the hips. It's engaging the pillar. It's linking upper extremities to lower extremities. 3, 2, 1. Good, go ahead and switch sides now. So again, we're doing that half pillar bridge. Knee is bent on the ground. We're gonna bridge up here. Go ahead, raise that leg for 20 seconds. Stay nice and strong. 5, 4, 3, 2. Excellent. So we're going to flip it on down to the stomach now, engaging the whole back side here. We're going to go opposite arm, opposite leg. So we're going to squeeze, raise, hold for about 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Switch sides. So 3, 2, 1. Opposite arm, opposite leg. You're going to come up into the air. Hold for about 3 seconds. We're going to do this move for a total of 30 seconds. Keep going. Keep going. Last one here. 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to go ahead and bring it on up. Going into our neural activation. So we're going to start to increase the intensity here. Go ahead with me. Double leg pogos, like we're doing jump rope, both legs, 10 seconds. We're going to move into single leg in 3, 2, 1, switch sides. 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Switch legs. 3, 2, 1. And relax. All right. So last but not least, we're going to move it laterally, so side to side. So what I want us to do is practice bounding side to side. So get your balance. You can start with very small hops, get bigger. So go ahead with me. We're going to try slow it down first. So let's go ahead and try stick, and then go to the other side. Keep a nice strong pillar. Woo. Let's speed it up. Let's go a little bit faster. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. All right, guys, so that concludes our warm-up portion today. So we're going to move into a strength circuit. What that's going to look like is a lateral lunge, just like we did in the warm-up, okay? So bring it out nice and wide. We're going to sit into that one side, 8 reps on that one leg. Chest stays up. 7, give me one more, then we're going to switch sides. 8. Good, switch sides. 5, 6, 7, last one, 8. Good, we're going to bring it down to the floor, plank shoulder taps. So find yourself in that nice tall plank. 30 seconds, we're going to alternate shoulder taps. So go ahead with me, try to keep those hips nice and stable, both facing down towards the floor like headlights on a car, okay? Stay nice and strong, flexing every muscle in the body here. Pushing away from the floor with those hands. Keep it up. 3, 2, 1. All right, so this is where our stick will come in handy. So if you have your stick, go ahead and grab it. This is a great trick to learn how to properly hip hinge. So we're going to line that stick up with our back side. I want the back of my head, top of my glutes to be touching, lower back. Everything is nice and in straight line with my stick. We're going to keep that chin tucked. Let's go ahead and just forward, hold. Slight bend in the knee here. Sit those hips back. See how it keeps me in a nice neutral spine? Good. So practice a nice soft knee, shifting the hips back, squeezing the glutes on the way up. Not hyperextending. Nice and tall. Pretend like a string is pulling your head towards the ceiling. So go ahead, practice this move. And if you don't like it there, you can always keep it in front. So nose, belly, same thing here. Nice soft knee. Squeeze those glutes on the way up. Good. So when you take that stick away, it's going to really enforce a good movement pattern. So that's the whole purpose here. We're going to finish up with bent over W's to Y's. So again, find that hip hinge position without your stick. All right, practice that hip hinge. What we're going to do is squeeze those elbows here into this W. Raise, squeeze back down. We're going to stay in this position. So squeeze those shoulder blades together. Elbows come down to the rib cage, reach. So I'm making that W to Y. Big squeeze at the end. Good, keep going. 3, 2, 1. Bring it up. All right, so that concludes the example of our strength portion, okay? So typically you go about 3 rounds of that. We're going to go ahead and finish up with some regeneration. Finding ourselves on the floor. We're going to go into child's pose, which is the other way. So find yourself hands and knees. Back comes up towards the ceiling. We'll sit back and big forward reach. So I want us to focus on stretching out that lateral tissue here today. So we're going to walk the hands from side to side, opening up each lat. So go ahead and walk this way now. Good, so going back and forth here. Walk those hands to the side. And we're going to bring it onto the back now. So we're going to stretch out the back side. Crossing one leg over the other. All right. What we're going to do is bring those knees towards the center of chest. Big stretch here on the back side, feeling it through the glutes. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So same thing, drop that knee. Then we're going to bring knees to chest, the center of our chest here, so we're kind of pulling at an angle. Good, one more on each side, then we have one more move. So during this time, regeneration or our cool down is a great time to focus on slowing the heart rate down if you had an intense workout. It's also a good reassessment time. How is your body feeling now? If you didn't switch, go ahead and switch legs. We're going to come out of that stretch. Go ahead and bring both feet down to your mat. And we're just going to finish with some lower trunk rotations. This is going to really help loosen up the lower back. So just we're not forcing the knees to go anywhere. They're just going side to side, nice and relaxed. Big deep breaths. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I hope this was helpful. Again, this was our Performance Basics class where we're learning how to go through the key components of a proper warm-up, what to focus on, mobility, stability, activation, all the good stuff in between. So thank you guys